Welcome
to Sort of the Story.
Oh, I'm Janey.
I'm Max.
I forgot what
Woo!
I feel like I was really... Look at you, sexy lady! Wearing those tight pants.
Neither of us are wearing tight pants.
Sexual harassment. I forgot how the podcast starts, and so I made a loud mom noise. And the older I get, the more I realize I make a lot of those loud mom noise.
Ooh, wow.
Woo!
Good job.
Like, I will, hype people up at the fucking grocery store. I need to start wearing culottes and, little Mary Jane, flats. Not Mary Janes. What do they call those? Little slip-on kids that moms
Mules?
wear?
Oh.
Mules. Yeah, moms wear mules, right? Mm-hmm. Moms need mules.
Mm-hmm. Mules need moms.
The sequel to Mars Needs Moms. Oh my
Mars
God.
needs moms with mules.
Mars needs mule moms. Mars needs mule moms to make them mules.
So this is the podcast. This is the podcast where we tell each other stories.
And also, you are here?
And also, we're here.
Wow.
We're all here together.
So, welcome to the podcast. Today, Max and I are going to tell each other fairy tales, and they're not for children, because we're gonna curse a whole lot.
Yeah, mostly we're not for children.
We're not for children, except for me when I'm not around Max. Then I exclusively, all day, every day, am surrounded by children. Believe it or not, I don't curse in front of them. Or say the word butthole ever. Never.
That seems like a really specific
chaos would ensue. The assistant principal was doing an assembly where he was giving them the rules, and he said, "You have to sit on your butts." And the first grade went wild. They were like, "Ah!" He said butt! Chaos ensued. There was a riot. It took us 5 minutes to calm them all down because they were so excited that he said the word butt. And he's like, "I'm sorry." He looked so stressed.
I feel like butt is the best version of that, though.
It is.
It's not like he said ass.
No, but for first grade, oh my God, so exciting. They're not allowed to say the word butt.
It feels like, I don't know, it feels worse when it was all right, sit on your bottoms. Mm-hmm. It's blah.
Yeah.
Sit on your behind.
Please. We say bottoms.
Mm-hmm. I also said ass with 2 syllables.
Ass.
Yeah, so I guess I can't really be too mad at people saying behind.
You said AYASS.
Yeah.
AS. Anyway, welcome to the podcast.
We're glad that you got your butts in here.
Oh, you said butt! This isn't for kids. Okay, we're gonna say the word butt and worse.
And worse. All right. Majani, I think you are first.
Oh, Max. I think you are right. Let's go ahead and go. Oh, guys, before we even begin that, Max made a listicle of all of our scariest stories, and it's rad. Yeah,
you can check that out on our Instagram page, @sortofthestory. It's in our pinned highlight stories, story highlights.
If you ever are in the mood to only listen to our spooky stories, Max even rated them 1 to 5 spookies,
Janey
which is great. Yeah, but I helped by sitting on the couch and pitching unhelpful things. I didn't know what we were doing. Max was like, "We need to describe these stories so people know what they are." And I was pitching what you would see on movie posters, where it's a woman.
It all ends here.
Yeah, unhelpful. Max is like, "No one knows what the story's about," and everyone's confused. But thank you for being here.
Yeah, so check that out on our Instagram story highlights. It's under scary stories in our story highlights at Sort of the Story.
Yeah.
And then you can find our scariest stories.
Yeah. That's it. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
You can also find us on all the other social media platforms. Just go to that link tree, guys. Okay? Mm-hmm. And also, before we even begin, you don't even know what the story is. Take a gamble on us. Rate this 5 stars. And write specifically, "I loved the stories you did just now. Ooh, they were great and spooky. And my butthole clenched so hard that I have to now get surgery."
Is your story spooky?
No. Yes. No.
This is why it was hard to rate things.
Yeah. I'm gonna give this 2 out of 5 spookies.
All right, that's not that spooky.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's get freaky. Oh, and also because this is coming out in 2 weeks. So I did just accidentally say let's get freaky.
You said let's get freaky and then moved on.
I was gonna say let's get freaking going, but then I got distracted halfway through the word. This is a long intro.
Let's get freaky. mom wearing capri pants and culottes.
I didn't. I just got distracted. I didn't say it. Also, because this is coming out in 2 weeks, I am going to do like a winter vibe story roundup as well. So keep an eye out for that on our Instagram or join us on Discord because I post updates there as well.
The only bummer about these is that our earlier... bum! We can say bum. It's fine. Anyway, the only bottom about these is that the older episodes, and these ones aren't perfect. I predict that by episode 100, we will have 2 mics and we will sound like we're doing... They're just expensive, guys. Like, the problem is that they're fucking expensive. Mm-hmm. We can't afford them because we're broke. So, I don't know if you can tell. We're not, like, doing well. So... if you want to contribute to our misery, steal from us. I don't know. I was going to say if you wanted to donate to our poor person fund, but...
We don't have that.
No, we don't have that. Anyway, the bummer
Buy
is...
our shirts.
Going to our old episodes, I love the stories. They're some of the funniest episodes. I'm like, these are all great. The sound quality is so bad because we had our mics all the way across the room from us, and we were in a big open living room.
Yeah.
And I cough constantly, and I didn't edit those out. I have to re-edit all of the old episodes, but like going back to them seems like torture.
Mm-hmm. I was listening through our first couple as I was hunting down all of our scary stories, and they were rough.
They were rough, but also so fun.
Yeah.
It's a bummer. That's the disclaimer for if you go back to listen to the first ones, know that our quality hopefully is only getting better, but good gracious. Mm-hmm. Okay, and with that...
tell me
going
a goddamn freaky story.
Let's get freaky, Matt. Mr. Potter. Come to die. That's not Quirrell. I know. I can't remember any of his words.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway. Look at the back of my head. Classic Quirrell.
Sure.
I'm wearing a turban. So, Max... I am pulling from a book that I've only ever used once, but I love it so much. It's called The Sister Who Ate Her Brothers and Other Gruesome Tales by Jen Campbell, illustrated by Adam D'Souza.
I think that the first time that you used is also the last time I used this book.
They look exactly the same.
White as milk, red as blood. Yeah, which is what we said last time. Is we were like, these 2 books look great together.
They really do. This is wild. So they both have like gold foil and beautiful illustrations on the cover that are like spooky. Mm-hmm. Oh, what fun! Also, can you tell that we just like have that spooky listicle coming out, and both of us grabbed our spookiest books because we're in the mood, and Halloween's coming up for us, not for you, because this is 2 weeks in advance.
I actually tried to grab a non-spooky book because I was like, I went hard on the spooky stories before Halloween, but this is coming out after, so.
Yeah, you know what? Spooky. You're in for it. Let's get freaky. So, I needed some stories, some scary stories specifically, because I did a TikTok live event called Halloween Haunt. It was very fun, and I needed to have some spooky stories, so I pulled from this book. And one in particular was The House That Was Filled with Ghosts. And it's a Japanese tale, and I'm going to get into it.
How did I know it was a Japanese story?
Because all the Japanese houses in all of our stories are always just filled with ghosts. It's never just like one person that died in the house. It's like, these are where all of these particular types of ghosts go. You want cat ghosts? You can find them in this house and this house only.
I like the idea that like all of a specific kind of ghost end up in one big communal house together. So it's like in like Friends.
Yeah.
Or a New Girl where they're all just...
I hope that's what happens to us. I don't believe in an afterlife, but I do believe in us being friends in the afterlife.
As ghouls.
I walk a fine line. Okay. There once was a beautiful woman who made the best tea in the land.
Is it you?
It's me. I make the best tea. My tea is 50% honey, and then some water splashed on top. And then, also there's a tea bag in there. Tea. It was so good, her tea, that people traveled from all over just to taste it, just to see what she had made that day, because every day it was a little bit different. They always conjure up like beautiful, nostalgic memories and these amazing feelings of euphoria, and they just made people feel really good. They weren't drugs, it was just tea. I'm gonna give you some quotes from this book, because I think that Jen Campbell writes in a very, very like beautiful and poetic way. Like, she does write a lot of poetry as well, and I think it comes across. So I'm gonna read some of her quotes. Mm-hmm. Quote, sometimes it tasted of syrup pears, and occasionally it had a hint of sweet red bean paste. Those who drank it said it reminded them of dreams they'd had as children. That's the description of the tea.
Sounds really nice.
It does, right? I love red bean paste.
Mm-hmm.
That's like one of my favorite tastes and textures are like the buns that have the red bean paste in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
When we lived in Japan when I was little, that's basically all I remember eating. I'm sure I ate other things, but I can't remember a single goddamn one of them. Okay. Her father was so proud of her talents, and he always showed her off to his clients and his friends, and he, like, bragged about her constantly, and because he did this, like, men were constantly falling in love with her, like, men in business suits and shit, and they were, like, proposing on the spot, like, we love your tea, do you want to get married and have babies? And she's like, no, that's not how you do anything. No, thank you. So she always turned them down, because none of them ever caught her eye. Until one day.
One day.
She was out walking, and she had herself a meet cute with the new gardener, who was hot as hell. He was sitting out there, and she was, like, walking through the garden, and they were both rounding, like, a tree, and then they ran into each other, and he dropped all his apples, and she dropped a bunch of tea.
Oh, no.
Just, like, 17 mugs of tea. And so she introduces herself, and he's like, oh, I'm the new gardener, and then they end up talking all day. They just sit there in the garden, just like chatting and laughing. And this happens for literally hours until somebody comes out and is like, hi, why are you guys out here in the dark? And they look up and they realize the sun has gone down and they are still just chatting in the dark. And they're both like, oh, we're in love. Oh no.
Also, that guy is like, I ordered some tea like 6 hours ago and it still isn't here.
All of my mugs shattered on the ground. Well, great. Now my party is ruined. You ruined my birthday. Instead of a cake, he wanted 18 mugs of tea.
Tea party.
It was a tea party. I guess that is a thing. Mm-hmm. Never mind. I was making fun of him, but you're right. I'm the weird one. So they eventually decided that they wanted to get married. And so they go to her father and they have to ask for his permission. And he is like, yes, of course. I love gardeners and have fun and live your life. The end. Just kidding. He was like, no, you're poor. Gross. Ew. And so he says no. And she's like begging. He's begging. The father is like, absolutely not. You can do better. You are a huge prize. I'm not going to let you marry the gardener and then just like be poor forever. No, thank you. Also gross, right? Am I right? Gross. And so she's like really sad and kind of resigned to it. She's like, okay. But the gardener is like, hey, what if I can get a house that has 1,000 rooms in it? Would you let me marry your daughter if I could provide her with a house with 1,000 rooms? And the father's
and
like,
buys a hotel.
Yeah, right? The father was like, that's so specific, and also no. Okay, but also a house with 1,000 rooms, that's a skyscraper. Like, yeah. No. Horrible idea. Mm-hmm. Nobody wants to live in that.
Or like a sprawling prison complex.
Right? And also, imagine heating that house.
Oh my god.
Gross. The father is like, no one... Like, you could not afford a house with 1,000 rooms. But the gardener is like, no, like, please answer. If I could get a house with 1,000 rooms, would you let me marry your daughter? And he was like, I mean, there's no harm in saying yes to this. I look like a good guy because I'm compromising, quote unquote. But also, like, he's never going to do that. So he says, like, yeah, sure. Kid, if you can get a house with 1,000 rooms, then you can marry my daughter all day long. I don't care. Marry her twice if you want to. Who cares? And it just so happened, Max, you're not going to believe this. This wasn't just a very specific hypothetical question.
Oh my god.
Yeah. No, he actually knew of a house with 1,000 rooms that needed an owner.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Clever boy.
I know. So the house, it sat on top of this mountain, and it technically belonged to a prince. And each one of its rooms were filled with something different. Here's another quote. One room was filled with music. Another was filled with footsteps. One room was filled with a silence so loud that if you screamed into it, you would hear nothing at all.
Oh.
And then one had a bunch of doll heads. I don't know. God. One was just a bunch of feet pics. There's 1,000 rooms. We're running out of things to put in them.
And one's full of cakes.
Woo! And one's filled with cocks. Oh, no. That's the worst room. Okay. It also had a shit ton of ghosts. Whoops. Oh. In fact, that was why the house was empty currently, because no one, including this prince that inherited the house, was brave enough to go inside of it because of all of the ghosts. And it had sat empty for 100 years. And the prince was, like, super annoyed by this, because he wants to go to his, like, weird mountain house, you know, with 1,000 rooms.
Mm-hmm.
But he can't because he's scared of ghosts. And
Little bitch.
yeah, little bitch. He's afraid that he's going to get added to that room full of cocks. He doesn't want to take that gamble.
Or worse,
The room full of cakes.
the room full of cakes. Ruin his diet.
No! Love him on my lips, hate him on my hips. Damn you ghosts. So the gardener goes to the prince and he's like, hi, can my wife and I live in your house? And he's like, ew, no, what? What house? He's like, no, the ghost house. Can we live there? In exchange, I don't want to do it for free. We can get rid of all your ghosts for you. Like, sure. And the prince is like, okay. And so he hands over the keys and he's like, get rid of the ghosts and yeah, you can live there. And so they do that. He's able to get this house. He brings the keys to the dad and he's like, that's our house now, up at the top of the mountain. So give me your daughter. Give her to me.
Gimme.
Gimme, please. I just want her. And so they get married.
I'm sorry. That's the ghost's house. He's
Nope.
gonna kick them out of he's gonna steal their house?
Yeah, he's a colonizer. For sure.
Nasty.
He's about to go gentrify. Oh no, poor ghosts. Where are they gonna live, Max? So it was wintertime when they were finally able to move in. And that was literally the worst time for them to move in because it's wintertime and their house is at the top of a mountain. So they are trekking through knee-deep snow and they get up to the top. It takes them hours and hours and hours to make it to the top. They have horses carrying all their shit and the horses are like, what was that face?
I was yawning, but I was trying not to make any sounds.
Well, good thing you only made a horrifying face. She just yawned with her mouth closed. Never seen anything like that.
I've done it like 6 times in the past 2 minutes.
Wow, am I boring you? No. All right.
I couldn't finish my coffee because it was really gross.
Okay, so the horses that are carrying all of their shit, they get up to the house, and the second they, like, enter the house's shadow, they start freaking out and trying to run away back down the mountain. So they have to also drag their horses through this, like, snowy blizzard. And they eventually get them, like, stabled, they get their stuff inside, and they're there.
They leave the horses outside.
I think they put them in the stable.
Also, they're like, oh, knee-high snow. Oh, no, not your knee-high. You're on a horse.
No, the horses are carrying their stuff.
Okay.
Also, they didn't leave them outside in the stable, sorry. They lived in that one room that was filled with horses. They have
The stable.
The stable. One of the rooms was just filled with horses and hay and was outside and was a stable.
One of the rooms was filled with a toilet and a sink.
Oh, freaky ghost house. So here's what's worse. It's a nightmare that they had to go up here in the snow and now they're trapped. What's worse, Max? The gardener hadn't told the woman why the prince had given them the house. He didn't want to scare her, so he moved her into a known haunted house and was like, nope, this is their house now, don't ask questions. So now she's just up there without any sort of preparation.
So he didn't want to scare her, so he brought her unprepared into a massively haunted house.
Yes, yes. So she steps inside and she's like completely oblivious to all the horrors that lay within. And she's like, this is so cool! And she starts like running up and down the hallways and like sliding on her socks and touching everything and looking in at all the doors. All of the halls are lined with hand-shaped candlesticks, each one holding a different colored flame. And she's like, what is this, a Spencer's? I love this.
Spirit Halloween!
Woo!
How long has this place been empty?
Oh my god. And one of the rooms is just filled with a Spirit Halloween store.
The abandoned room.
Yeah. And that is just seasonal, though. It will be gone in the next couple of days, so make it there quick.
Yeah.
Here's another quote. I love the way this book is written, so I'm just going to keep quoting it. Quote, there was a room with suitcases addressed to non-existent places, a basement full of tunnels that disappeared into nothing, and the taps trickled with an odd laughter. In the haunted bathrooms. The woman was in love with this house. She was like, this is goddamn great.
I love it.
Love how happy the sinks are. Love all of these suitcases that are going nowhere.
My favorite room is the room that's full of disembodied footsteps. What a feature.
She just is in there also like making footsteps, like just stomping her little feet. That's so cute.
It's so cute.
Why is that the cutest image ever? Oh, and so, and you like, there's like all these footsteps on the ceiling, and she's like, yeah! She's
She's got her tap shoes on.
This was her dream house, and I don't blame her. This sounds very fun. But her husband, who hadn't told her that it was haunted, and so she just thinks she's in this weird, strange playground, her husband had to leave for work in the middle of the night every night because he has to make it down a goddamn mountain in order to get there in the morning to do his work. So he literally has to leave her alone all night and all day, and then he comes home when I'm like, why are you going home?
Yeah. What?
Yeah, so he's like leaving at midnight and then trekking down this goddamn mountain and then leaving her alone all the time.
But then when's he gonna have time
in a haunted
to deal
house
with all those ghosts?
I think he just expects her to do it.
But he didn't tell her.
Yeah, he's
Bad.
wild. So that first night that he was gone, all was fine. She brewed some tea because she wasn't able to go to sleep because she's like in a new house, you know? And she's waltzing down the hallways alone, and this is a quote, "The house watched." But on the third night, her husband left. Things started to change. That night, she was woken up around midnight when a gust of wind crept into the house and blew up all the rugs and rattled the paintings on the walls. And so she came downstairs to see what was wrong, because she's brave as shit. Like, At this point, you would think that somebody was living in one of those thousands of rooms, right? Like, there are squatters in one of the rooms.
For sure.
This room was just filled with squatters. And she was shocked when she came downstairs, because in the darkness, she sees 3 candles that are just floating on their own. And eventually, they weren't floating anymore, because 3 monks in white robes appear around them. And they float towards her on, like, stomping little feet. And they start to surround her on all sides. Now, most people would have been terrified, Max. Most people would have run screaming. But our girl, she's not like most girls. I wish I wasn't quoting. I'm pretty much quoting. Oh, she's not like most girls. She's crazy. And she starts to, like, try to see their faces. And she kind of smiles at them after a while because they're just all around her. And she's, like, looking at them. And she's like, "You want some tea?"
Is this like a dance circle?
It's like pretty cold outside. Anybody want some tea? It's the only thing that I know how to do. So let's do it. So they follow her into the kitchen, and she makes tea for them.
Aww.
The tea tastes like sweet miso and plum blossom.
Oh.
And then she
so
turns on the gramophone after they're all just, like, awkwardly, like, holding a candle in one hand and drinking tea under their hoods in their other hand. And she turns on the gramophone, and they go into one of the old empty ballrooms, and they all start dancing. And they dance all night long.
Oh, this is so cute. I
And
hope
then-
the husband never comes back.
And then the monk's candles flicker.
Husband cannot see.
Husband cannot see. What we do when he is gone, husband can never dance in
You
empty
can
ballroom.
never know the luxury of late night tea with 3 best friends who are dead.
3 dead best friends. So, when the sun starts to come up, the monk's candles flicker and they disappear, and she smiles and goes to sleep. When her husband left on the 4th night, the same thing happened. A wind blew through the house, it knocked over books and started shaking the silverware drawers, and so she comes downstairs like, "What? I'm up. What? You what?" And she again sees 3 floating candles, and she's like, "Oh my god, my little monk friends came back. So nice." But instead of the 3 monks in white, 3 monks in yellow appear around the candles, and just as before, they stomp towards her and they surround her very menacingly, and she smiles at them as she had before, and she's like, "Hey, you want some tea? I was gonna make some anyway. Let's have some tea." And so they go. It tastes like yuzu and honey. And then they go into a room full of broken mirrors. No big deal. Get over it. Okay? That's not what this story's about. It's not what this family's about, Max.
Family.
Family. Dom Toretto saying that to a broken mirror.
I just really quickly want to say you were like, these monks aren't in white robes. They're in yellow robes.
Yeah.
And my first thought was, oh, it's different monks. And then I thought about it and I was like, it's a different day. Maybe they just changed clothes.
I was thinking that they had, like, upgraded, like, in karate. They got their yellow robes now. That's the only thing I could think. Okay. So she turns on the gramophone and they dance in this room full of broken mirrors all night long. And the next morning, the monks' candles, quote, made constellations on the silver surfaces, and the house watched it all, feeling snug and content.
Oh, I hope husband never returns.
So the
Husband has his garden while wife has her monks.
So the husband on the 5th night goes to work, right? And the wind comes in again, and it bounces off the ceiling, and it peels off the wallpaper, and it screeches down the halls.
Horrifying.
And she comes downstairs to see what's wrong, and she sees the 3 candles floating. And now, there are no monks dressed in white. There are no monks dressed in yellow. They're in their black belts!
Oh.
3 monks dressed all in black with their faces covered. This one's the scariest one. I would be very upset to see this.
Yeah.
And they surround her with their candles, and she can't see their faces. And of course, quote, most people would have cried. Most people would have bolted. But not our girl! I ended the quote. She's a tea lady. So she says, like, she offers them some tea. And it tastes like licorice and midnight treacle. And I put a Max tea.
That sounds so good.
This is a Max tea. It is the opposite of what I would like.
Mm-hmm. The yuzu and honey sounds like you.
It does, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly the honey. I don't know what yuzu is.
It's a fruit.
Okay, yeah, that's me. I'm a yellow monk. And you're a black monk. And Alex is sweet plum. Aw.
He is a sweet
He's
plum.
a sweet plum. White monk. Okay, so tag yourself. So they go to a library that smelled like vanilla, and I'm like, out of all the rooms, the library smells delicious. Like, what?
Oh.
So they go into this vanilla-smelling library, and they turn on the gramophone, and then they dirty dance the night away.
Woo!
Woo!
Dirty
How do you
dancing
call
Havana
your
Nights.
lover boy? And they reenact that dance where he's crawling, the monks are crawling across the floor, all 3 of them in uniform.
Mm-hmm. Unison?
Yes.
I also, for some reason, am picturing the monks being very small. So I'm picturing them stacked on top of each other.
Why are you picturing that?
I don't know.
Was it all the monks or just the monks dressed in black?
All of them. I was picturing them being like 3 feet tall.
I'm picturing, you know the scary nuns in,
Church?
No, what movie am I thinking of? High Spirits.
Oh,
you know the scary nuns in High Spirits that have like the hoods that flap out?
Yeah.
Should we watch that on our Discord?
Yeah.
That's a fun one that I feel like not a lot of people have seen.
Yeah.
That one and Beautician and the Beast. Double feature.
Double feature.
And then Ever After, and then every other movie I've ever watched in my childhood. Never mind, I'm very selfish. Okay. So, quote, the monk's candles winked and the house watched happily. Its soul was full of warmth, for it finally felt loved.
Oh, no.
The gardener comes back home that day against Max's express wishes, and he finds his wife asleep on a pile of books like a cat. And she tells him, he like wakes her up and is like, what are you doing here? And she like sits up on her books and she starts telling him all about her adventures and all about the monks, and she makes him tea. She must pee so much. She only ever drinks tea. And like she tells him how the house had come alive around her, and then she sighs sadly and she says, you know, I just don't think the ghosts are going to come back. And she's a little sad about it. Somehow she just knew they were gone. The house felt different now. And so the gardener like falls in love all over again. He's like, I love you so much. I kind of knew you would be excellent at this. And
now we're gonna be ghost hunters
woo!
together.
And now we're gonna go kill some ghosts. She's like, oh, you don't understand what I did. Hold on, drink some more calming tea while I retell you the story. So he tells the prince about how she had cleared out the ghosts, and the prince was so happy. He offered the gardener and his wife jobs working at the house, and in exchange for lots of money. And also, they can live there for however long they want. He's like, you could just take care of the house. You can be the gardener. She can take care of the house however you want. And then when I come in, you know, you'll just be here. It's fine. And he says, there's only one condition. Whenever I come to visit, I would like your brave wife to make me a delicious cup of tea.
Aw.
The end.
Aw.
It was so nice.
That was so cute. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I kept waiting for something bad to happen.
Nope. It has a super happy, sweet ending.
Oh, I love it.
So, Jen Campbell, I adore her. I just really do. I think I love all of her. She's on YouTube. She's like a huge YouTube sensation right now. And I adore her. I think she's so smart and so sweet. She adapts all of her stories. Like I'm going to give you the positives first. She adapts all of her stories to have a more contemporary, nicer ending. Because these are for children, right? Mm-hmm. So she also puts in like a lot of LGBTQ plus themes into stories. It doesn't change the story at all, but it's like, you know what? Why not have a merman instead of a mermaid? And then there's just 2 gay mer people. Like, why not? It doesn't change it at all. It's cool. It's very fun to read, right? And it's also, like, we've told a lot of the stories in here on this podcast, so I'm able to read her versions and be like, that's a much better version.
Yeah.
This has a sweeter ending, and I like this. Or I told the story from here, The Wife Who Could Remove Her Head, and I mentioned in that episode, which is 33, I mentioned in episode 33 that The Wife Who Can Remove Her Head has an ending where she and all her apple babies chase off the mean husband, and then they fly around on broomsticks together and they live happily ever after. But in the original version from El Salvador, the man kills the woman and then he gets all the little apple babies, and now he just has all of her babies, and that's how the story ends. And it's like, that fucking sucks.
Yeah.
I love her ending better. The problem that I have with this book is that when I was searching for where she got this story, because it says it's a Japanese story, I can't find it anywhere. She doesn't source her stuff. She doesn't say where she found it or where she adapted it from. She's very clear that she adapted them, that she reimagined a lot of them. She has a whole afterword talking about how she rewrote certain endings and why. And I love that. I think you should be able to do that, but not without sourcing.
Yeah.
That seems super unethical that I can't find the original sources, especially if you are taking world stories from different cultures, you know?
Yeah, I think that, I mean, personally, I feel like there's no reason not to just say, like, and this is where I got it in case you want to see the original version, you know?
That,
yeah.
And this one, too, I'm conflicted because I love this book, and I do think everyone should buy this book. It is so good. But also, I hope that in the future, Jen Campbell does better about this, because there's not a single thing in here saying where she got them. It just says the country of origin. And that seems weird.
Yeah, I have a couple of books like that, and it's always frustrating because I'm like, I can tell that this is, like, a story that has been told and retold and that has several different versions, and I can't find them. Like, so you're just stuck, like, searching keywords and stuff like that.
Especially if you retitle them. So, like, I searched in The House That Was Filled with Ghosts, Japan, and guess what I got? Every Japanese ghost story ever!
Yeah, I always feel weird about... I have a couple of books of ghost stories, especially, like, local stories from various places that I've been, stuff like that. And I really enjoy reading them, but I don't tell them on the podcast because every ghost story, the reason why there's a ghost story is because something awful happened to someone for no reason and they're sad.
That can be.
You know,
unless
so,
they're
like,
the Japanese ghosts, because Japanese ghosts come in so many different forms.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
Yeah, but, like, I have a collection of ghost stories from my mom's hometown up in the Adirondacks. And it's like, oh, the general store that's downtown and has been for the past 150 years is haunted by this old woman who, like, had a heart attack in the store, and, like, the store was her favorite place to be, and now she's just there. And I'm like, oh, well, that's not fun.
That's not a story.
That's sad.
Well, there's no, like, plot for that either,
exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the problem that you get on ghost tours, too, is you have to have a story attached to it, or some history, otherwise you're just like, and some people say they see this ghost, and it's like, what?
Pretty good.
your big stories that some people say they see this ghost? Prove it.
5 stars.
5 stars. Cool.
Well, speaking of weird versions that are combined versions of different stories and stuff like that, I got a weird one for you.
Yeah, let's fucking do it.
Yeah, we'll take a little break and we'll be right back.
Let's get freaky.
All right, Janabeth.
All right, Maxifer.
So this story that I have for you today, as I said before, is from White as Milk, Red as Blood, The Forgotten Fairy Tales of Franz Xaver von Schoenwert, which is this collection that I've used before. These stories were found in a German archive in 2012. They've been hidden away for like 150 years. Franz von Schoenwert was a contemporary of like the Brothers Grimm, and his stories have minimal overlap. So it's like a whole bunch of new fairy tales that we found back in 2012 that have since been translated, and they are collected in this, translated by Shelley Tanaka, with a foreword by Philip Pullman, and the illustrations are amazing. They are by Willow Dawson, and they are just these really gorgeous, like spooky illustrations in a really beautiful, like lots of watercolor, lots of really amazing, just really cool imagery and everything like that. So if you have a chance to pick it up, it's just a beautiful book overall.
Also, if you're hearing all that like squeaking and stuff, that's Max opening and closing this very squeaky spine of this book. It's very satisfying to hear.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. But I'm sure I can see it in the microphone. It's gonna be like, what are they doing? We're opening and closing a cool book.
It's really
That's
cool.
your ASMR.
Don't you wish that could be you? Buy this book.
Let us crack your spine.
Oh.
A lot of different emotions just traveled over Max's face.
Yep. So this story is called The Two Brothers. And I'm going to preface this by saying that the reason I wanted to tell this one is because this combines it's like kind of a patchwork of a bunch of different stories that we've told before. So if this sounds familiar, it is. But I think it's a cool one. So here we go. There once was a king, and he had 2 sons, an older son and a younger son, and they looked so similar that sometimes people would get them confused, right? And one day, the older son decides that it's time for him to leave the kingdom, find his fortune, earn his way. So he packs up all of his things and he goes to find adventure. Mm-hmm. And before he leaves, he loves his little brother very much. And so he wants to make sure that his little brother doesn't worry about him too much. So he gives him this little vial of clear liquid, right? And he says, if the liquid in the vial turns cloudy, it means that I am in danger.
The Raven Prince.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
If it turns red, it means that I'm dead. It's like, okay, cool, rad. I'll just check this, I guess.
Yeah, every once in a while, I'll just look at the liquid.
So this older brother goes off on his adventure. He goes to a neighboring kingdom where he meets the princess, the daughter of the king, and falls in love with her immediately. She's very beautiful. They are quickly married, and the older brother becomes the king of that land, right? And they're very, very happy together. Their favorite thing to do is to just sit in one of the upper windows of their castle and look out across this forest that spans most of their kingdom. And
so they don't have TV.
No, they don't.
Okay, cool. That sounds fun and romantic. God, my nightmare. Just looking out of a window with my husband.
To me, one of the things that I want most in this life, and which I've wanted since I was like 4, is I want a house that has a little tower, like a little spiral staircase going up to a tower sunroom that doesn't have any furniture except for just pillows all over the floor. So it's like warm in the afternoon and it's like all windows and you can look out and you can just like roll around in pillows and like read a book. That's my dream. So this sounds great to me.
Okay, but they're not reading a book. They're looking out a window.
Yeah, but
they're looking out a window like a 1950s housewife on pills. Romantic.
Well. So they're looking out the window one day, and the king, the older brother, says to his wife, the queen, "What is that I see over on the other end of the forest?" And he sees this like glint of gold light, and she is like, "Oh, don't worry about that." And he's like, "No, but like, what is it?" She's like, "Well, it's an enchanted castle."
Okay. Yeah.
And I know that sounds really cool, but everyone who's ever gone there has not returned. So I like you. I want you to return from places.
Romantic.
So please don't go to this place from which you won't return. And he's like, absolutely understood, wife. And then goes and organizes a hunting party, and he's like, actually, just kidding. I want to go find out about this castle. Bye!
Boys gotta be boys.
Boysy boys.
Boys gotta go die in an enchanted castle because they won't listen to their wives. Boys.
So the king collects together his hunting party, and he goes to his wife, and he's like, I have to know.
No.
I'll be back. Also in his hunting party, he has a lion, a bear, and a wolf, who are his animal companions, by the way. Doesn't come up before now, but he just has like a pet lion, bear, and wolf that are his companions and friends.
Sure.
I'm imagining they're anthropomorphic and they talk to him.
Well, they don't have TV, so.
Yeah.
What else are you gonna do? You have to have your lion, bear, and wolf talk to you.
So he has his hunting party and his lion and his bear and his wolf. And the lion's like, let's get ready to go. And he's like, all right. And he goes to his wife and he's like, I have to know. And she's like, fine. And then she goes to his hunting party and she's like, I want you guys to promise me you will not let him go into that castle. Because we all know he will not come out. And he's like, come on. And she's like, all of you here now, promise me, the queen, you will not let him in there. And they're all like, yes, ma'am. And he's like, ah, nuts. Come on.
Come on.
And she's like, okay, have fun. Bye. And he's like, okay, bye.
Jesus.
So he goes off into the forest and he's like, all right, well, that kind of ruins my day. So he's like, trying to like cajole his hunting party. And he's like, hey, but like, we're going to that castle, right, guys? And they're like, no.
What is his problem? Why is he such a fucking idiot?
They're like, no, like, people don't come back from there. And also, we promised the queen, you're not going in there. And he's like, but just between us. And they're like, no, we're not letting you. Like, that's dumb. You're our king, and we don't want to have to find a new king.
Is he the king consort, or is he the king? Because if he's just the king, then he outranks her.
I don't know.
Because of sexism.
Because of sexism. It's not established.
Okay.
So he realizes that he's not going to be able to get to this castle with this hunting party with him. So he hatches a plan. And he starts fake coughing and he's like, oh my God, guys, I'm so thirsty. Oh, we have to stop because I'm so thirsty. Let's find an inn, please. And his hunting party is like, oh, my king, he's thirsty.
And also a great actor.
We have to go find him an inn. And so they find an inn and he goes in and he's like, oh, thank goodness, because I'm so thirsty. I want all the wine that you have. That's how thirsty I am. And
what about some water?
They bring out all this wine and he like takes a sip and he's like, oh, I feel so much better. Well, we still have all this wine. Do you guys want any? And like turns to his hunting party and they're all like, I mean, yeah.
Wouldn't say no to all of the wine.
So his hunting party drinks the wine, and then they all get fucked up on wine, and then they all pass out in this inn.
Listen, we've all been there.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the king and his bear and lion and wolf.
The ones who didn't verbally make a contract with the queen. Got it. By the way, hold on. I have to pause you very quickly. On my live last night, I kept saying, and she was a witch. Which is something that you and I do all the time with every W word that we want to emphasize because it's funny. But I got fucking dragged for it. Everyone was like, HWITCH, witch! I would put a C in front of it. CHWITCH. Witch.
A Q.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Just the whole top line of the keyboard.
QWERTY you up.
QWERTY you up.
QWERTY you up. Quitch.
That's difficult. Which is the beginning of the second line.
Yeah. Okay.
We're all normal. We all have normal brains.
Sure.
Like that. So his hunting party is all passed out at this inn, right? And he goes to his animal companions and he's like, all right, let's get to this castle.
Let's get this party started.
Woo, let's get freaky. And the bear's like, oh no, I'm fucked up. And he's like, no man, you're fine. That didn't happen in the story.
Oh my God, I think the bear was drinking wine.
They're all drinking, obviously.
Oh my God, but he brought his drunk bear with him. That's hilarious.
That's not in the story. I just think it would be funny if he had a drunk bear with him.
He just had a drunk bear.
So he and his animal companions sneak out of the inn and they go to the castle. They arrive at the castle, big golden castle. There's a moat around it and a little bridge across the moat, and they cross the bridge and they're like, hooray, we're at the castle. Hooray, hooray, hooray. Woo! And then at the doorway of the castle, there is an old, ugly old woman.
Fuck. And that woman was Morgana.
And she's wearing a cloak.
Yeah.
That you can only see her face in. The rest of her, like, her hands are inside the cloak, or her arms. And the king goes up and he's like, hey, castle, huh? And she's like, oh, alms, please.
Aww.
Alms for the poor. And he pulls out a gold coin and he's like, here you are. Which is very sweet of him.
Yeah.
And she's like, what do you expect me to do with that? And he's like, well, take it. And she's like, I don't have any hands, you insensitive dick.
Oh my God.
And he's like, oh my God. I didn't know and I'm really sorry.
Damn, I thought you had just buried them in the sand next to you. Why are you holding your arms like that?
And she's like, well, obviously I can't take this coin because I don't have hands. And he's like, okay.
But like, she wouldn't have been able to take any of the alms.
Help you then. And she's like, put the coin on the ground in front of me, obviously. And he's like,
is that obvious?
And he's like, Okay, totally. And so he takes the gold coin and he bends down and he puts it in front of her. And as he's bent over in front of her, she...
Sorry, she does that weird girlfriend move that everyone says that girlfriends do on the internet, where she just puts her finger in his butt. By the way, I don't understand that weird trend. Apparently, all white girlfriends do that. It's only white people I see doing it, too. When they follow their boyfriend up the stairs, they just stick their finger in their butthole. You know what I'm talking about? Oh my God, are you about to tell me that you've done that? Damn it, Max!
Not in the butthole. You're saying it like it's like through
these men all look terrified. They all have like PTSD. Like, what the fuck?
What's more likely is that if Alex is bent over, I will run up behind him, grab his hips, and pretend to thrust and be like, ugh! And then run away.
I think that should be the trend. It's all a rich tapestry of I don't want to be in any relationship that's horrifying. Anyway, so she just sticks her finger in his butthole.
No.
Some, like, light assault.
So he kneels in front of her to put... Changing my wording.
He kneels covering his butthole with his one gloved hand.
He kneels over and he puts the gold coin in front of her. And as he has his, like, head down in front of her, she takes out her right arm, in which she does have a hand.
What?
And
Lying bitch!
In that hand is, like, a switch.
Oh.
Or, like, a wand. Or like
a switchblade? Your little switchblade comb?
I got a switchblade comb for my Halloween costume, and
it's really a gold dragon.
So as he's bent over, she takes out this switch from underneath of her robe with her right hand, and she swats him with it, and he turns into stone. And all of his animal friends are like, oh no! Oh. And then she swats all of them, and they all turn to stone.
No!
Meanwhile.
Well.
Meanwhile. Back at the inn, time passes, and then the hunting party, the attendants, start waking up. And they're all like, oh, what happened last night? And then they look around, they realize that the king isn't there, and also there isn't a bear in this inn, which is weird.
Didn't he take the lion and the wolf as well?
Yeah, he took them all.
But they only noticed the bear is gone? Rude.
No, they just, I mean...
A clear favorite. Also, I like the idea of two of them wake up, and they're like, yeah, what happened last night? Ha ha ha. And they keep looking at each other, like, shiftily.
Do we make out? It'd be crazy if we did, right?
It would be crazy, right?
No, so they notice all of the animals are gone, and also the king is gone, and they're like, oh no. And so they go outside of the inn, and they look around a little bit, and they're all really hungover, and they're all like, oh no, he's not here either.
And one of them's like, oh no, I'm wearing your underwear. Ew, we'll talk about this later.
And so they're like, well, we lost the king and the queen's gonna be really mad. So they all resign themselves to going back to the kingdom without the king. And they are all...
Go to the enchanted castle. You know where he was going.
I don't know.
Fucking cowards. Go ahead.
So they all start heading back towards the castle, and they're all like, she's gonna be so mad at us. And then as they're like halfway there, they run into the queen, and she's like, who's gonna be mad? And why? And they're like, nothing. And then they tell her that her husband is missing, presumed dead.
Yeah.
And she sobs and sobs, and then she goes back to the castle. She organizes a search party. Everyone searches the entire kingdom, and they can't find the king.
Go to the enchanted castle.
Somehow nobody thinks of that.
Hey, everyone, you know where he was going.
But, like, also nobody comes back from there, so if you send more people to look for him, then just more people will be missing. So she sends out search party after search party, and eventually is forced to concede that he's just gone. And she goes into mourning, and the whole kingdom is draped in black, and they mourn the loss of their king.
Sure.
A year passes.
Oh, God.
And he has not returned. Meanwhile...
What?
I'll tell you what. Meanwhile, back in the other kingdom, the younger brother is cleaning out his...
junk drawer. And he finds this little vial that his brother gave him. He's like, oh, shit, right, I forgot about this thing. And he lifts it up to the light, and it's like milky reddish.
Oh. And he's like, oh no. Because if you'll remember, milky means danger and red means dead. So he's like, it's like, he's never seen it red before, so he doesn't know how red it has to be like
Dead.
Red, but he's like he's in trouble. Like, I have to go figure out what's going on. So he packs up all of his things and he heads off in the same direction as his older brother. Eventually, he crosses into this kingdom that is in mourning. And as he goes through the kingdom, he encounters the queen, who is all in her black clothes, leaning out of the window of her castle.
Yeah.
And immediately falls in love with her.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he's like, this is the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. And
he looks like his brother. Oh, no. The story's about to get fucked up.
And a passerby is like, yeah, she's really beautiful. I feel so bad that her husband died. And he's like, oh, her husband died? And they're like, yeah, the king is who we're mourning, and that was her husband. And he's like, oh, that's so sad. So, like, what was he like? And they're like, oh, he was a stranger from a distant land. He actually looked a lot like you. And so the younger brother is like, oh, so that was my brother?
Thank you, NPC. And then he leaves him standing there mid-sentence.
You don't play games. You can't use that term. That's not allowed.
I can and I did.
Yeah, so he's like, oh, okay, so she married my brother, and now he's dead. But also,
woo!
She's so pretty.
Girl, you fine.
So he goes on a shopping montage, and he gets a bunch of clothes that look like his brother's clothes. And then he walks up to the castle, and all of the servants are like, oh, my king! And then the queen hears shouting down in the courtyard below, and she looks out the window, and she sees him, and she just, like, races down the stairs and runs into his arms, and, like, collapses sobbing, and is like, I can't believe you're back.
Fucked.
Yeah.
What?
And he's like, hello, my wife. Already my wife. Yes. And she brings him inside. They have a huge feast. They all celebrate. And she lovingly chides him for not telling
For not
her
calling?
that
Not
he was going to be gone for a year. And yeah, so the younger brother is very happy in his new life as the king and the husband of this beautiful queen. And he's very careful also to make sure that, like, he doesn't offer anything. She's like, so where were you? And he's like, oh, here and there. She's like, where and where? And he's like, just around. Don't worry about it. Anyways, did you cut your hair? I love it. So he's careful not to mention anything that could reveal that he's not actually her husband.
I would assume he had a secret family.
Oh, yeah, for sure. 100%.
Immediately. Be like, who is she?
And so,
is she prettier than me?
So they get back into their old habits, one of which, of course, is laying by the window at sunset and looking out over the landscape.
I misunderstood what you were saying. You said old habits, and then you said one of which, and so I imagined an object or a pet or something, and you were like, one of which was laying right by the window. Oh, okay. What was that one? The bear, maybe? Anyway, sorry. I just understood the whole sentence and my brain broke.
I know, and then I just started getting, like, the lay versus lie grammar in my head, and, lying by the window?
One of their habits was one of the routines.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I should know this, though.
I don't know the difference, but also I'm an idiot, so never mind. Go ahead.
People lie down, you lay something down. So if it's the subject, it's lie. If it's the object, it's lay, I think.
Then what about Lay Me Down, the song?
Yeah, then you're the object. It's like, you lay me down.
Okay,
Yeah.
guys, and this is
Grammar.
Honestly, this is how
might be
most of
wrong.
our friendship actually works. This is how I found out that you hyphen ages when there's a descriptive adjective after the age, but you don't hyphen the age as like 1 year old.
Yeah,
Girl.
so a 1-year-old girl is hyphenated, 1 year old.
Yeah.
But my girl is 1 year old is not hyphenated.
Yeah.
Because it's not adjectival.
I think about that constantly. That was something I learned from Max. Anyway, this is how our friendship works.
Grammar.
Grammar.
So they're laying in the window one evening at sunset, and he sees that golden glint on the horizon, and he says, beautiful wife, my wife who I've had for the whole time that we've been married.
Oh, no.
What's that on the horizon? And she's like, what do you mean, what's that? That's like a year ago when you disappeared, and that's the castle that you went to, like the cursed castle that I was like, don't go there, and then you went there? Mm-hmm. What do you mean, what is that? Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, sorry, I thought that was a different glint. No, you're right, totally. I totally know about all of that, and understood, and I was there, and that was me. Yep.
Horrifying.
But he realizes that perhaps his brother isn't dead after all.
Yeah.
And so he becomes
and
more and more
sleeping with his wife.
Yeah. He becomes more and more curious, and finally he decides that the thing to do is to go and find out what happened to his brother, right?
Is nobody missing him at his house?
No.
That's suspicious. Did he live as a hermit in the woods? Anyway, go ahead.
So he collects together a hunting party, and they're like, here we go again. And the queen is like, great, so same rules as last time. He doesn't go near the castle, and also, if you guys fuck this up again, look at me. Executions. Executed. All of you. One after another. I swear to God. I don't care if it wasn't your fault. All of you. Executed. She doesn't say that.
God.
She doesn't threaten to execute them, but like, basically.
That's it, but
that's the gravity.
Veiled threat.
Yeah. She's like, listen to me. You better fucking watch my husband. I swear to God.
Hey, just a real quick question. How do you like your head, on your body or on my kitchen floor?
Yeah, so all of the people are like, yeah, he can't go in the castle, we heard you, we promise, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, great, okay, good luck, I guess. And he's like, all right, bye. So he treks to the forest. Same thing happens with the attendants where they're like, you can't go to the castle. And he's like, oh, nuts. And then he's
Gets
like,
them drunk.
and then like takes them to the inn, gets them drunk. They don't learn.
Yeah. Stupid attendants.
And he goes over to the castle. And he, again, sees this big, gleaming golden castle, huge moat around it, bridge crossing the moat. And as he is crossing the bridge towards the castle, he sees an old woman surrounded by all of this statuary.
Mm-hmm.
And he comes up to her and she's like, alms for the poor. And he's like, sure. How about you tell me what happened to my brother or I murder you?
Because he's not as altruistic, obviously. He's a sneaky evil brother. He's not about to play her game.
So he's like, sure. So like, but like, what happened to my brother or I kill you? And she's
Loki.
like,
This is Loki and Thor, isn't it? Like these two brothers, because this one is just straight up evil. But also
I
hot.
don't know. I have thoughts on this, but I'll get to that.
Okay.
He takes out his sword and he's like, you better tell me what happened to my brother. And she's like, I don't know anything about your brother. I don't know who that is. And I don't know what you're talking about, but I really would like some alms. And he takes out a gold coin and he's like, fine, here you go. And he holds it out to her while he's still holding his sword. And she's like, oh, I can't take that. I don't have hands. And he's like, okay, so what do you want me to do with it? And she's like, just put it on the ground right there. Obviously, the ground. And he's like, so you don't have hands? And she's like, yeah, I don't have hands. And he's like, no hands at all. And she's like, well, I do have hands, but they're really gross and I don't want to show them to you. They're horrifying. And he's like, I would like to see them. And she's like, no, they're horrifying. You can't see them. And he's like, okay, but if you want these alms, then you better show me your hands.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I can't. And he's like, you fucking better. And so she gets tired of this. And she whips out the switch with her right hand.
Yeah.
And she goes to thwack him with it, but he has his sword out and he's ready. And with one swing, he cuts off her arm.
Yeah.
And then he grabs the switch out of her removed hand and is like, okay, so I guess it's gonna be like that. Tell me what happened to my brother. And she's like, okay. Well, I don't have a hand anymore. So she begs for mercy. She confesses everything that happened.
Yeah.
And then she's like, but it's okay because I actually have two hands. And she shows her left hand, which also has a switch in it. And she's like, and this one, if you hit the statues, then they'll turn back into people and they'll be fine. And he's like, ooh, great. So he takes the switch and she's like, and that's your brother over there. And that's his weird animal friends. And he's like, okay, rad. So he goes over with the second switch and he hits all of the statues and also a bunch of other statues.
Yeah.
From people who have explored this castle in the past. Whacks them all. Everyone comes back to life.
Save.
They celebrate. His brother runs into his arms and they hug in a super cool manly way.
And then he whispers into his ear, I fucked your wife. Don't worry about it. I'm happy to have you back.
Well, so what happens is they're like, oh, the older brother's like, oh, brother, you found me. I'm so glad. How did you know? And he's like, oh, well, I was talking to your wife. And he's like, you were what? And he's like, I was talking to our wife. And the older brother is like, oh, sick. And he takes out his sword and he stabs him.
Is that really how the story ends?
Yes. Well, it's not how the story ends, but that's what happens.
Oh, what? Max, are you making up an
No,
ending?
this is it. I swear to God.
What? What?
Older brother finds out younger brother has boinked queen, in my notes, stabs him. All of the celebrating statues who have been freed from being statues run away because they're like, what the fuck? What the fuck?
Whoa.
And then the older brother, the king, goes to go find his queen. and heads back to the castle. Yep. He heads back to the castle and he gets halfway back and meets the queen there because she was already coming to look for him anyways. And they run into each other's arms and she's like, oh, thank God, I thought you were gone again. And he's like, again? What? And then they figure out what happened. And she's like, oh, so you're my actual husband. And he's like, yeah. And also that other guy, my brother, is dead. And she's like, harsh, but fair. And then
because he raped me. Rape by deception is rape. Holy shit.
And
what?
yeah, and she's like, that's harsh, but that's what happens when you are treacherous. And he's like, but I will miss my brother. And then they go back to the castle and a couple of days pass and people are like, whoa, what happened to your brother? And he's like, what do you mean? And they're like, oh, well, apparently you stabbed him, but he was fine. And he had a little dog that he brought with him.
What?
And the little dog licked his stab wound so it would stop bleeding.
Huh?
And then he was fine. And he got up and he went on his way. And he said to tell you that he's not mad because he assumes that you were cursed by the witch to stab him.
What?
So,
what?
all square.
So the end
and
of
they
this
lived
story,
happily
no,
ever
no,
after.
Well, that really fucking fell apart at the end there.
That's why I wanted to tell this story, because
that really fucking fell apart.
I swear to God.
What?
I swear to God, that's how this story ends.
I have never been. I feel like that one confused meme.
Yeah.
What the?
So that's what happens. And that's the end of the story. So, to me, I was reading this and I was like, okay, so this is like, I started it and I was like, oh, so this is like 3 different stories that we've read, right? Like, I couldn't think of like which 3, but I was like, this is like about 3 of the stories that we've read.
It's like The Raven Prince, the story of Medusa.
I was also thinking like Chronicles of Narnia because I grew up on those books.
Yeah.
So like the Ice Queen, Jadis.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff I was thinking of and everything. And I was like, this has a lot of similar themes with a lot of the folklore that we've told before. And then it gets to the end and it's like, also, he had a dog the whole time. Also, he's not dead. And he said everything is fine. And it kind of felt like so...
This really does feel like the reason why this guy wasn't as famous as the Brothers Grimm was because he was a terrible fucking writer.
Well, the rest of the stories in this book are really good. This one just fucking goes off the rails. And I also wanted to read this one because it made me laugh really hard. When I was little, my grandfather, who has since passed away, my mom's dad, he was an English teacher for his entire life, and he was also a translator during the Korean War. So he spoke French and German.
Yeah.
But he just loved language. He loved stories. And when I was little, he used to make up stories to tell me. We would just sit in his big, like, green reclining chair, and he would tell me stories.
That's so cute.
But he also was a very old, very tired man. And so sometimes he would stay up for, like, hours with me just making up stories on the fly to tell me.
Yeah.
And then would be tired, and I would be like, another! And he would be like, no. And I would be like, another! And I would, like,
the weird little tyrant.
punch and slap him. Like, tell me another story!
Tyrant.
He'd be like, all right. He'd be so tired that he would fall asleep, like, partway through the story, and, like, nod off, and I'd be like, Grandpa! And I would, like, poke him, and he would be like, and then they were in the bank, and the bank said, you can't have the diamonds, those belong to the queen. I'd be like, Grandpa, what? And he'd be like, I'm sorry, I just... Be like, Grandpa! And he would be like, and then the frog said, that's my wife. And so it's just like...
And then the frog said, that's my wife, is one of the best continuations ever.
So it was just like completely disjointed because he would like fall asleep partway through it and then just like wake up in the middle of a sentence that he hadn't been saying. And this kind of felt like that, where towards the end it was like, and then the brother stabbed his brother to death. I'd be like, to death? And he'd be like, oh, not to death, because he had a magic dog. Licked his wound and he was fine. And I was like, but they didn't fight anymore? And he's like, no, the brother already left and he...
Assumed?
And then I was like, oh, so they're just mad at each other forever? And he'd be like, no, the older brother actually heard a rumor that his younger brother was fine with it.
He said, fair. That is so bizarre.
I know, it's such a weird ending. I love it.
There is something I appreciate about... There's a lot that I appreciate about this.
Mm-hmm.
One being that I feel like in any Brothers Grimm story, right, the 2 brothers would reconcile and it would be about them laughing this off and it would have nothing to do with the queen.
Mm-hmm.
I like a lot more that younger brother got murdered. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it wasn't like, hey, everything's well because you saved me, haha, and then he went on and married another hot lady in the castle and the queen was like, oh, boys. Like, I like that he died and didn't get to come back to her.
Mm-hmm.
that.
But although he didn't die.
Yeah, which is the weird part to add at the end, but also, like, I just feel like we would
he
never
had a
see
dog.
that. And then also he had a
Which I
dog.
assume is a talking dog.
Also, the bear, the wolf, and the frog, whatever it was. What was it? Coyote? Cat?
Wolf.
It was a
The
wolf.
bear,
I
the
said
wolf,
bear,
and the lion.
Lion.
Not even a part of the story.
No, they're not
That's
even
the
a
other
little.
thing. Doesn't even come up.
Why are all these animals
Doesn't
here if
even
they're
come
not
up.
either not mentioned until they save the day, or they just are mentioned and they don't do shit?
They don't do a single... They're just his animal companions.
Weird.
So weird. Like, it's so... It really feels like someone, like, took a bunch of stories that they had heard and told them, like, all at the same time.
They
you
were...
know?
No, they were carrying a manuscript with a bunch of different stories on them, and then they accidentally, like... They, like, tripped on their tall high heels because they were interns walking to their office, their boss's office, and they tripped and they, like, ran into a cute guy in the elevator and their papers went flying everywhere, and they grabbed them up and they giggled, and then they had a meet cute, and then they handed that in because they were distracted by how horny they were.
Mm-hmm. So it was like, and then the older brother and his flips page.
Dog?
Bear, wolf, and lion, who were his... friends, and they were friends with each other.
I guess my only real problem with this is why does the old lady have to stick her finger inside of his butthole?
So that's the other thing that was so weird. It's like, okay, so now there's just this golden castle that was cursed, but it turns out it wasn't cursed. It was just an old lady who was hanging out outside of it, turning people into statues for no reason besides that they were bothering her. No.
Just old
also, they
ladies
don't
be
say what
evil.
happens to her. They don't say, like, they're like, and then the younger brother slew her.
Well, she bled to death from her arm stump, for sure.
I mean, maybe. But also, like, they're not like, and now this is our castle. It's just still...
her castle, I guess.
I guess. But also, maybe the castle is also cursed.
Yeah, that was
and she was just an additional,
That
like...
was such a fun story, and then it just went literally off the rails.
Yeah, so I just wanted to talk about that.
Very fun.
Like, just specifically because I know that we talk a lot of times about, like, the concept of folklore and how, like, folklore is folklore because of the way that it changes and the way that people tell it.
Yeah.
And the way that it's used to bring people together. And I think that this is a really good example of, like, it's folklore even if it's not a story, really, you know? Like, it still represents a part of, like, the way that people interact with each other socially and build bonds over stories, even if it's not, like, one discrete, consistent story, kind of, like, it doesn't have to be good to be folklore, I guess, is what I think is really cool. And I also think that it's really clear to me, I think, that this is, like, a blend of a bunch of different stories, which is also how folklore evolves, is that people tell it, retell it, they mix up the details, and they, like, get confused, and that's how new stories are born a lot of times, and I think that that's really cool. So as much as this is an ugly hodgepodge of a story, I think that it is representative of some really cool things about folklore, and the way that it is mutable, changeable, and beautiful.
Oh, mutable, changeable, and beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Cover girl. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And also, there was a dog.
Also, there was a dog there at the end. Don't say that we didn't have dog representation. Guys, let us know what you thought on our social medias. Instagram, TikTok,
Twitter.
Twitter.
Wordle?
I said Wordle. I don't know where that came from. Twitter.
We don't have a Wordle.
We have a Discord, though. It's all at Sort of the Story.
Mm-hmm.
And
you can join us at our Discord on our Linktree link, which is on all of our social media. Mm-hmm. And also give us a rating and review and hang out with us and be our friend.
Yeah. And go check out that listicle that Max made. I'm shutting down.
Oh, no.
Go check out that listicle that Max made if you want to hear some more spooky tales.
Spooky.
And we hope you're enjoying your November.
Mm-hmm.
And have a good fucking day, you losers. Let's get freaky!
Bye! Did you read that story about the whale, the loneliest whale?
The one that has been calling for a mate
for
like years and years and years. Can't get laid.
Yeah. Except that now there's another whale singing at the same frequency.
Oh, no!
Yeah.
Good!
Yeah, it's the love story of our generation. I'm so excited
What
about
if they get together and then the other one that was answering it dies mysteriously and you realize there's a reason why this other whale has been alone?
Oh, no!
And that's the horror movie of our generation.
I am awake.
We need 2 microphones right in our fucking faces.
Mm-hmm.
This is frustrating every time.
And then we can do that cool thing where you're like, lean in really close to the microphone and like ask each other questions. Like, so I was just wondering, I actually had a couple of questions.
Oh, sorry, you were gonna go first.
I would do that every time. It's probably for the best we don't have 2 microphones.
We need 3 microphones, one for each of us, and then an actual one for you. So you'll have one that you think is the one, but is actually not recording, and then there will be like a lapel one that is actually recording
so
you.
I was actually being recording. Oh, you're talking? Am I not being picked up? I like the idea that the podcast is basically Marge and Maggie Simpson, where you're driving the car and I have a little toy microphone, a little toy steering wheel where it looks like I'm driving. That's the only way you can get any work done.
If anything, it's the opposite. I'm the one with the little toy steering wheel.
We sometimes alternate because neither of us are helpful all the time.
Both of us have little toy steering wheels and it's a self-driving car.
Why do you guys even listen to this podcast? It's so unprofessional.